Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. This channel is dedicated to me learning about different things from around the world and just in general watching any kind of video about any kind of subject that I find fascinating or interesting. So yeah, today I am continuing my Canada reaction series and I'm watching a video called Why 50% of Canadians Live South of This Line, and it's from the channel RealLifeLore. So yeah, I'm really interested and excited to see this video and see what it's all about. So yeah, if you are a new viewer or a returning viewer, then please remember to hit that subscribe button and click that notification bell to get notified about new videos. And also, if you like this kind of video and this kind of content, then please give this video a like. It will give me the feedback and let me know that you like what I'm doing and you like my reactions. And also, if you want to, I would really like to engage with you. So please leave me a comment, tell me any kind of fun fact that you know, and I would love to engage with you and communicate with you through the comment field down below. But for now, let's just dive into this reaction and see what this video is all about. Let's do it.
This video is made possible by Morning Brew. Start your day by catching up on the top news in business, finance, and tech in 5 minutes by subscribing with the link down in the description. Alright, so this is Canada. We all know that Canadians like to pretend they're further north than Americans are, but they're really not, and I'm going to prove it to you. This is the 49th parallel, the longest border between two countries anywhere in the world, and the one that's most often thought of as being the dividing line between Canada and America. It's true that most Americans do, in fact, live south of this line, but so do most Canadians. In fact, roughly 70% of all Canadians live south of the 49th, in this land shaded red. But we can go even lower. A full 50% of all Canadians live south of...
Oh yeah, okay, I never really thought about that. Yeah, but yeah, it makes sense. By the way, I am really liking his voice. It's a very soothing, sort of, yeah, not too high-pitched voice. And yeah, I just really like it. It's a very nice voice he has.
This line in this relatively tiny area shaded red. This means that most Canadians live further south than pretty much the entire US states of Washington, Montana, North Dakota, and obviously Alaska too. But I'm not done embarrassing Canada just yet. This is the southernmost point of Canada on Middle Island in Lake Erie. Zooming out to view more of the North American continent, would it surprise you if I told you that there are, in fact, more Americans who live north of this island than Canadians? Well, it shouldn't, because there are, and this is how. Here's the line of latitude drawn precisely over Middle Island's southernmost location. Clearly, all of Canada exists above this line, but a surprising amount of the United States does as well, including this tiny sliver of California. If you're from California, you can legitimately claim that some of your state goes further north than Canada's southernmost point does. With the line this far south, though, a lot of America's largest urban areas exist above Canada's southernmost point, like the entirety of Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, Alaska, and most of Wyoming, Michigan, New York State, and Massachusetts.
Wait, okay. So New York State is further north than the southernmost point of Canada? Wow. Interesting. I really like this channel. They make really informative videos. Yeah, this is just yeah, fascinating.
Up together, this means that more Americans live north of Canada's southernmost point than Canadians do, which is kind of weird. In fact, approximately 80% of the entire Canadian population lives within just 100 miles of the United States border. But why? Canada
Oh yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm reminded about the previous video I reacted to, where they also mentioned this. So yeah, maybe I'm going to watch more videos about where people live in Canada, what the demographics are, and what the cultural diversity is, because I'm also very interested in that kind of subject, because I know that no, not Canada, Canada is very multicultural, at least in Toronto. So yeah.
is huge. Why do most Canadians live so close to the American border? Well, let's start off with the fact that despite being a continent-sized country that's roughly the same size as all of Europe, Canada's population is small. Europe's population is around 750 million, while the almost equivalently sized Canada has a population of only 38 million. That's less people
Yeah.
than live in California, and about the same amount as people who live in Poland. 38 million people can't possibly settle densely across an area of this huge size. And they haven't. Instead, Canada's small population exists in faraway, spread out pockets of population like Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, and most significantly, the dense urban and industrialized corridor here between Quebec City in the northeast and Windsor in the southwest. Half of Canada.
I'm just reminded of no, I just thought about what is the most populated city in Canada. Is it Toronto, or is it Montreal or Montreal? Yeah, I don't really have time to look it up right now, but if you could leave me a comment below, that would be cool.
Canada's entire population simply lives within this 700-mile stretch of land that includes Toronto,
Yeah.
Ottawa, Montreal, and Quebec City. And it's all because of geography and history. As you're probably aware, Canada can get pretty cold. Half of the country is covered by what's called the Canadian Shield, a huge area of exposed rock with only a tiny layer of topsoil where farming is effectively impossible and winter temperatures
And
are
a very
severely
beautiful
cold. You just
geographical
can't have
area.
people or civilization without food. So that effectively eliminates most of Canada from ever being able to have many big population centers. Instead, Canada's civilization developed down here away from the Shield, and where large-scale farming is actually possible. And it's possible primarily because of these. The Great Lakes. These are the
course,
largest
they needed
collection
water
of freshwater
to-
lakes anywhere in the world by
Yeah.
surface area
To
that
survive.
pretty much act in a similar way as an inland sea does, like the Mediterranean or the Baltic. The lakes soak up heat and cool the air down in the summertime, and then they radiate that heat back out slowly throughout the autumn months, preventing the area that surrounds them from getting as cold as the areas that don't. When combined with the frequent influx of warm, moist air coming up from the Gulf of Mexico, this does wonders for warming up the surrounding region's climate. So because of this effect, the Quebec City-Windsor corridor has richer and deeper soil than anywhere else in Canada does. And that means that large-scale agricultural farming operations that
Wait a minute, I don't mean to stop so many times, but that's kind of like my style. But for anyone watching that lives in Canada or around the Great Lakes of North America, are the lakes so great that it might as well be an ocean? I'm assuming that you can't see across the lakes because they are so large. But are they freshwater lakes or saltwater lakes? I don't remember hearing about what kind of lakes they are, but yeah, let me know down in the comments if you just, automatically just think it might as well be an ocean, because it's just, if you live on the coast of the Great Lakes, then it's like living on the coast of an ocean. So yeah, let me know.
can support a large population are possible here and almost nowhere else where it's just too cold and too rocky. The climate is so good here that it's even possible to grow fruit in orchards and even establish wineries. But the climate and agricultural potential is only half of the reason why this is where most Canadians live. The other reason is geopolitical significance and power projection. This is the St. Lawrence River, and it's one of the most historically significant rivers in all of world history. It contains the world's largest estuary, and for most of the past 5 centuries was the only easy way for the Europeans to explore the North American interior. Historically, European ships from the Atlantic could enter into the St. Lawrence and sail down only as far south as the dangerous and impassable Lachine Rapids here, which is conveniently right where the city of Montreal happened to be developed and settled. For hundreds of years, Montreal was the primary port town on the St. Lawrence and the gateway to the North American interior for ships sailing in from the Atlantic. But over the centuries, humanity...
Yeah, as far as I know, that is why there's even a city there today. Because, you know, back in the old days, you just settled where there were marketplaces and you know, these cross sections of trade, and yeah, so it makes sense that there was even a settlement right in that area. Yeah, let me know if you know any good videos about the history of Montreal, or you know, when Montreal was founded, or if there are any good videos on YouTube that you know about, please let me know.
Humanity expanded upon nature's limitations. Eventually, in the early 19th century, the Canadians constructed the Lachine Canal across Montreal Island to bypass those dangerous rapids, and, combined with a complex series of other canals and locks across the other various lakes and canals that culminated with the St. Lawrence Seaway being opened up in 1959, ocean-going vessels could finally and freely travel all the way between the Atlantic and each of the Great Lakes, which established cities like Toronto, Buffalo, Detroit, Chicago, and Duluth as other important trading ports with access to the world's oceans. This is partly why cities like Chicago, in particular, became the epicenter of the American railway system. It's relatively...
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. That even if the city is in the middle of the continent, it is still an important city because they made these seaways or shipping lanes. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah.
Centrally located within the country, and with access to the Great Lakes and the St. Lawrence, goods can be imported and exported from here across the world's oceans.
Yeah, they can be exported and transported by ship and by train. That's so cool. That's so cool. It's so sad that trains are not really that important in North America today. At least not passenger trains. But I don't know if freight trains or trains carrying goods might still be important. I don't know about that. Or maybe America just uses trucks. I don't know. But anyway, I know that there's a severe lack of passenger train infrastructure. At least it's not as well built as the European train system. At least that's what I've heard. So, yeah. And we're back.
Because of all this, a massive amount of lucrative trade has flown along the St. Lawrence for decades, and all of it has to pass through the ports of Toronto, Montreal, and Quebec City, increasing all of these cities' prominence and leading to them becoming the top destinations for immigrants coming to Canada from abroad. Just look at the
Yeah.
historical population data of Toronto and Montreal. In a single
It
century
would be
between
so cool
1881
to.
and 19...
It would be so cool to travel by ship um, on that route. Um, yeah, I'm assuming that it's possible for tourists or visitors to take that route on ship. That will be a really cool thing to do in the future.
1886, Toronto's population absolutely exploded from a town of 86,000 people to a metropolis of 2.2 million, while Montreal went from about 150,000 people to 1.7 million in the same time period. That is why currently about 50% of all Canadians live south of this line, and why around 80% of Canadians live within 100 miles of the United States border. The border that's been closed for over a year now and is finally opening back up again next month. In response to COVID-19, Canada shut the entire border down with the United States to non-essential travel back in March 2020, and they're finally opening it back up again on August 9th after 1 year and 5 months. Which is the longest the US-Canada border has been shut down for since the War of 1812, more than 2 centuries ago. A lot of what's happening today is based on what happened yesterday or last week. As Canada's long border closure with America has finally ended, and as someone with friends in Canada who visited the country often from the States, these events directly impacted my life over the past year. I was literally in Canada in March before the border was closed, and left back to the United States without realizing that it would be nearly a year and a half until I would be able to return again. I wanted to understand why the border closure kept getting extended throughout this past year, and so I began keeping up with the events by reading the frequent short articles that were being posted to Morning Brew every morning. This is why I really love using Morning Brew, because their free daily newsletter gets you up to speed on...
Guys, remember to support the original content, the original video, and RealLifeLore, the channel. I can see that that the rest of the video is just an ad, so we're just gonna end the video here. But please remember to watch the original content, and I'm also going to give this video a like because it's an awesome video. As I said before, I really like this channel. It's a channel that I've been subscribed to for a few years now, and I like his voice. It's a very soothing voice, and these videos are just always cool and has some interesting facts. So yeah, this was a shorter video, but yeah, I liked it. And again, if you like my reaction and my commentary to this, then please remember to give this video a thumbs up, a like. It will tell me and the algorithm that you like my content and you like my videos. And also, if you haven't subscribed yet, then please subscribe to my channel and click that bell to get notified about new videos. So yeah, hope you enjoyed this, and please remember, I will see you next time. Bye!